caucus training for the Night of Caucus. Legislative district chairs, precinct chairs, caucus hosts, check-in clerks, help desk workers, and all other volunteers should plan on arriving at the school at 3 p.m. The legislative district chair should have already coordinated with the school for arrival time and setup. We cannot be arriving to set up at 6 p.m. when registration is to begin. We need to be set up and ready when the first caucus attendee arrives. Each caucus meeting room should have a printed sign at the door stating the precinct number. The same sign, or copy, used at the door of the meeting room is to be posted with all of the other precinct signs in order on a centralized, very observable and accessible wall so that attendees may see the signs and look up their meeting room number very easily. A map of the precinct should be posted next to the precinct sign. A school floor plan, or map, is to be posted on a centralized, very observable, and accessible wall with precinct designation for each room so that caucus attendees can quickly find where the school meeting room is. Ensure check-in clerks and help desk workers have the VETI application up and running and are signed in as a check-in clerk. One help desk worker will have a login as an event manager. The event manager will have the authority to change information. For instance, if a person has moved into the neighborhood but hasn't changed their address on their driver license, the event manager will be able to change that information as long as they provide proof, like a utility bill, and then check them into caucus. As caucus attendees arrive, check-in clerks will scan their driver license. When the application pulls up their info, they are to verify the information is correct and be informed of their precinct. They will be given a wristband by the credentials clerk designating that they have been checked in and shown the precinct list and map showing the location of their precinct meeting. When they receive their wristband from the credentials clerk will mark the wristband with the precinct number and the room number they are assigned. Attendees go to their meeting room after reviewing the school map and chatting with the Keep My Voice table. A common problem that occurs while scanning a driver license is when the background is too bright. If the table is a bright white and there is a bright light shining on the table, the scanning operations may work better if you hold the driver license with a dark backdrop, like a brick wall. Generally, this fixes any issues with the driver's license when it does not scan properly. When a caucus attendee does not have their information pulled up on the application, refuses to allow the driver's license to be scanned, or has any other issues while checking in, they will be sent to the help desk. If precinct chairs are being utilized as check-in clerks, allow them to be dismissed to their precinct meeting room no later than 6:45 p.m. As caucus attendees arrive at their precinct meeting room, have them sign in on the paper Precinct Caucus Attendee form. Ensure that they provide a text-capable phone number or a valid email, or both. Precinct chairs and caucus hosts will sign into the VETI application as an event host. They will check the number of attendees on the application against how many wristbands are in the room and how many attendees have signed in on the paper Precinct Caucus Attendee form. The precinct chair will welcome everyone to caucus and introduce themselves. The precinct chair will ask for a volunteer to give a prayer and another volunteer to lead the precinct in the Pledge of Allegiance. This can also be done beforehand so as not to put anyone on the spot. The precinct chair brings everyone's attention to the video and plays the platform video. There is no need for discussion of the platform. Just play the video, watch, and listen. If concerns about the platform arise, deflect those concerns with Ronald Reagan's rule of 80%, meaning if you follow 80% of the platform, that's good enough for us, and then move on. The precinct chair brings everyone's attention back to the videos and plays the caucus video. This video contains the duties and responsibilities of both delegates and precinct chair. The precinct chair has one of the other precinct officers or volunteers read and then pass around the donation envelope or bucket. The precinct chair then opens nominations for the county delegate. Be sure to emphasize that this is a 2-year office and that the county delegate must be able to attend the county nominating convention on the 14th of April and that they are expected to attend the county organizing convention in the following year. All of the prospective office holders must be able to provide a text-capable phone number or a valid email address, or both. Both is preferred. Once all the nominations have been made, the precinct chair closes nominations. Have the secretary or other volunteer keep track of speaking time. Each candidate is given 1 minute to speak. The Salt Lake County Republican Party has adopted the principle of majority rule when conducting elections. The principle of majority rule establishes a threshold of 50%. Anything below 50% has not reached the threshold. Anything above 50% passes the threshold. 49.999% does not pass the threshold. 50.001% passes the threshold. In this example before you, there are 9 people running for 1 county delegate seat. Once all the votes are tallied and a percentage is given, we take the candidate with the highest percentage and add that to the candidate with the next highest percentage and then the next until we have candidates whose percentages come to higher than 50%. In this case, Guido Cords gets 18%, Casey Sheets gets 16% for a total of 34%, Dan Box gets 13% for a total of 47%, and Corbin Essex gets 11% for a total of 58%. We have met the 50% threshold. The others that were running, Steve Webb 9%, Pat Reams 9%, Stacy Wall 8%, Paul Wheats 8%, Peter Dreams 8%, are all eliminated. Guido Cords, Casey Sheets, Dan Box, and Corbin Essex go on to round number 2. In round number 2, we have added the votes and gotten a percentage. Again, we take the top percentage and then the next top percentage. So we have Guido Cords with 27%. Then we add Casey Sheets with 25% for a total of 52%. The 50% threshold has been met. Dan Box with 20% and Corbin Essex with 24% are both eliminated, and we go on to round number 3. In round number 3, the votes are tallied. Guido Cords has 51%, Casey Sheets has 49%. The 50% threshold has been met. Guido Cords is the candidate with 51%. In the unlikely event of a tie, and this has happened in the past, the winner is decided by a coin toss. The 2 candidates decide who is heads and who is tails. The precinct chair then tosses the coin in the air so that it flips over a random number of times and is allowed to hit the floor. When the coin comes to a rest, the side showing heads or tails is the winner of the race. In a multiple office race like county delegate, you can run all 4 races using the same principle of majority threshold. Each voter is allowed 4 votes for each of the 4 county delegate offices open for election. In this scenario, it is possible for any candidate, or even more than one candidate, to get 100%. This is possible because a first pick for some can be a second pick for others, and a third pick for others, and then a fourth pick for the remainder. So while a candidate was not someone's first choice, they may have been a second, third, or fourth choice. This also means the number of possible votes is multiplied by 4. Again, we add up the votes and get a percentage. Those that receive over 50% are automatically put into a county delegate slot. In this case, we list them on the bottom as having been elected to the position of county delegate. Corbin Essex with 92%, Steve Webb with 100%, and Pat Reams with 83%. All 3 are elected to county delegate. The 50% threshold is now put to use for the other 3 candidates. Guido Cords gets 45%, Casey Sheets gets 42%. This brings us to a total of 87%. the 50% threshold has been met. Dan Box with 38% is eliminated, and we go on to round 2 with Guido Cords and Casey Sheets. Since 3 of the county delegate positions have been elected, in the second round, you're only voting for 1 position. In this case, once the numbers are tallied, Guido Cords gets 63% and Casey Sheets gets 38%. Casey Sheets is eliminated and Guido Cords becomes the 4th county delegate. After county delegate elections, the precinct chair opens nominations for the new precinct officers, precinct chair, precinct vice chair, and precinct secretary and treasurer. Be sure to emphasize that this is a 2-year office and that the precinct chair must be able to attend quarterly county central committee meetings. The vice chair must be able to attend meetings and all duties in the precinct chair's absence. All of the prospective office holders must be able to provide a text-capable phone number or a valid email address, or both. Both is preferred. Once all of the nominations have been made, the precinct chair closes nominations. Have the secretary or other volunteer keep track of speaking time. Each candidate is given 1 minute to speak. Elections and voting are conducted following the majority rule, as previously explained. Once elections have been closed for precinct officers, the precinct chair opens nominations for state delegate. Be sure to emphasize that this is a 2-year office and that the state delegate must be able to attend the state nominating convention on the 21st of April and that they are expected to attend the state organizing convention in the following year. All of the prospective office holders must be able to provide a text-capable phone number or a valid email address, or both. Both is preferred. Once all of the nominations have been made, the precinct chair closes nominations. Have the secretary or other volunteer keep track of speaking time. Each candidate is given 1 minute to speak. Elections and voting are conducted following the majority rule. After the elections are complete, the precinct treasurer or volunteer will announce the amount of donations collected and turn the donation envelope or bucket into the precinct chair or caucus host. The donation envelope or bucket, along with the precinct caucus attendee form, will be taken by the existing precinct chair or caucus host and the new precinct chair at the close of the meeting to be turned into the legislative district chair. Once elections are completed, update the paper precinct caucus attendee form. Update the VETI application with the new office holder information. Ensure that the new office holders do not leave the precinct meeting without updating their information. Pay special attention to gathering a text-capable phone number or a valid email address, or both. Politely remind them that if the phone number and email do not check as valid, their positions will be declared open and the new precinct chair will make appointments in their stead. The precinct chair or caucus host will thank everyone for their attendance and ask that the attendees help return the room to its original configuration. Make sure to turn off the lights and leave a thank you note for the teacher for using the classroom. We are scheduled to occupy the building until 9 o'clock p.m. Meetings are to be concluded and the building vacated at that time. The existing precinct chair or caucus host and the new precinct chair will turn in their precinct donation envelope or bucket and the precinct caucus attendee form to the legislative district chair before departing the building. Each should take a picture of the form front and back. They should keep a copy for their personal records. All of the data should be on the VETI application and will be available to the candidates the very next morning. But we want to make sure we have all of our records current and on a hard copy for backup. After the precinct meetings are concluded, all volunteers will help take down posters or signs and put away tables and chairs that were used.